Welcome to Dom's Corner, everybody. I am your host, Dom Martino. Today I'm sitting down here with Mr. Ian Schick. Ian, how you doing today?
My mouth is full.
What a way to start. All right, so we are here, and we have a lot of news to talk about. Let me tell you. What's up?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you. Appreciate you asking.
Of course.
I had this lag fixed like right before we started, because I had plenty of time to fix it, you would think, and then here we are.
Just lagging again?
It should go away here in a second. So, yeah.
I'm hopeful.
I think we're good. I think we're good now. Alright, I fixed it again. Sorry about that, everybody. But anyway, so yeah, we have a lot of news to talk about today. A lot of stuff to catch up on. And yeah, so, before we get started, guys, as always, please hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comments section. That is always much appreciated. And please share this with your friends.
Sabine's back.
Where?
You said feedback.
Oh.
And it sounded like Sabine, and I was like, wait a second.
Gotcha. Alright, maybe I didn't fix the lag. Hang on here, guys, a second. If you would, please. Ian, I wanted to tell you, I started watching Shameless, by the way. So,
did you?
I did.
What do you think?
So far, okay, so here's my overall thoughts on it so far. Now, given I haven't passed the first season, I'm almost done with it. But I haven't passed it yet. So, you know, hey, we got another guest here too, by the way. Hey, surprise. Yes.
Adam.
He decides to join anyway. All right. Look at that. That is a surprise.
Hey. Hold on a second, Adam. There was something we talked about the last time we were left alone. And I'm not sure if you remember, but it had to do with our backgrounds.
Oh man, Adam Leach coming in clutch, ladies and gentlemen. This is a surprise, Adam.
I love special guests.
Me too.
I'll give you a small spoiler-free rundown of Shameless if you'd like, so you know what you're getting into completely.
If you could do that, yeah, that'd be great. Honestly,
most definitely. Adam, do you have your ears ready though?
Yeah, silly computer. A microphone can't be a speaker.
Do you remember?
Actually, it can. I that's a lie.
Yeah, I say it definitely can.
It's like the same thing. Actually.
Adam, do you remember that background we talked about?
The background? What background?
The background that we downloaded especially for Dom.
Oh,
you remember? Don't pull it up until you know. And then let me know when you're ready, and then I'll pull it up the same exact time.
Okay.
This is perfectly fine. I'm trying to fix something anyway, so you guys keep talking amongst yourselves.
Okay.
What did you... Okay, I think I'm good now. What are you talking about with this background?
Okay. All right.
You ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Oh.
All right. We picked different ones.
Damn it. I didn't know we were doing the bean one.
That's fine.
How about Trebek? Not Trebek. God damn it.
That's not what your mother said. That's not
Cottery. Anyway, so now that we have these nice distracting backgrounds, that's staying up the rest of the night. Mine is, at least. So, Shameless is a very, very cool show. You know, it seems like a lot of things in that show wouldn't actually happen, but I feel like coming from Kokomo, Indiana, that disproves things. I've seen a lot of stupid, crazy shit back in Kokomo, Indiana. And I feel like a lot of it, like Frank, I'm sure you're well acquainted with Frank by now.
Of course.
I had a neighbor who is exactly like that guy.
A
lot of people love Frank. Frank is my most hated character out of any TV show because how well he depicted my neighbor.
Yeah. Dude.
Without depicting my neighbor.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, man, I watch this show and I'm like, I know these people. You know what I mean? Like, these are people that I've met before.
See, I'm down here, and a lot of people, like, here are like, Yeah, I don't sense any relation to this show. I was just like, maybe it's just a northern thing. We're all fucking nuts and rude.
It's got to be.
Like honestly, like a lot of northerners are rude as hell.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Down here, you have at least fake niceness. Like people are at least fake nice to you here.
That's true.
I can deal with some fake niceness at times.
That's true.
But anyway, a lot of the shit in that show seems very unrelatable to a lot of people in the South, I think. Whereas here, I feel like it's extremely relatable, and I hate it.
I tell you, like I said, I know those people. Like it's insane, and I'll tell you what. Like my biggest thing with it is it's like
I can't get over Bean.
Each episode is like a whole new thing, like or not a whole new thing, but it's like a whole new story with these characters. I can't take Adam seriously right now.
I know, Beanie Baby. He's got a Beanie Baby.
But anyway, my point is that like every episode, you don't really know what's going. The reason you watch is to see what happens next with these characters, but it's not like an overarching story. That's what I've gathered so far.
It'll eventually start like doing character arcs like for certain characters, but it'll do like other characters in between, so it's not just primarily them, which personally I like it. I think it levels itself out. Heads up, it's really funny now. It gets really depressing towards the middle of the series, but it picks itself back up towards the end.
Yeah.
They're doing one more season from what I know, so they're going to do a season 11. Now, I have a favorite couple in there. You wouldn't expect my favorite couple, but whenever you see them, you're gonna be like, "Wow, you know what? I love that. I love it. It's awesome."
Mm-hmm. I do like the show. Let me tell you, it's insane. Like I can't take my eyes off it. It's
Yes.
For the audio only listeners out there, Adam just put up a picture of Rowan Atkinson, and I don't know who he's meshed with right now, but that's quite something.
If
I'm gonna say Chris
for the lack
Farley.
of body hair, I would say Randy from Trailer Park Boys.
I'm saying Chris Farley.
Oh,
That's like
boy.
a Chris Farley body.
So what's been up, Adam, since the last time we talked 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Or whatever that was.
Not a lot.
Oh, boy. I mean, this is
Says your mother, Trebek.
That's not what your mother said last night, Trebek. I love those skits. Turd Ferguson.
Turd Ferguson, yeah.
I think I'm peeking a little bit. Sorry about that. But anyway, he's having a ball with these backgrounds. Oh,
He really
boy.
is.
So yeah, guys, a lot of news to get to today. Hope you guys are ready.
We got through
talk.
the shitty parts of things. Oh wait, I said I wasn't going to remove that.
Yeah, actually, Ian, I read an article. If you suck into your microphone, there's helium in it. I read this article recently.
That's hilarious. That's a funny joke.
No, try it.
I already know it's not true.
It's true.
You sucked into your microphone.
Okay.
It's
You
true.
suck off your microphone.
All right, Dom, you do it.
All right, fine. Here,
All right, let's see you do it.
All right, fine.
I like how he's going to change his voice at the same time. He's looking at the settings even.
Did it work? No? Did it work?
Adam, did you play a prank on him?
No.
Okay. That's Dom. Having recorded many vocals, many vocal sessions. I can tell you right now, there's no helium in these microphones.
Did it work?
No,
It didn't?
no.
Oh, that sucks. That blows.
Want to
That's
play
probably-
a game? You want to play a game? That
What's
work?
the game?
I don't know. Anyway,
He was trying to play a prank on me
anyway, listen.
for your enjoyment.
What do you think? I actually thought there was helium in there.
Is it working?
I didn't actually do that. Like, I have an actual pitch changer on my thing. That's different.
That's different.
Never mind.
How dare you?
All right, let's talk about the news. All right, it's a lot of big stuff. So I added this one recently because there was something that I thought was going to happen was going to be announced by today. It didn't happen, so we're going to talk about Jump Street. So I really enjoy these Jump Street movies. I think that both of them have been really funny, like very solid. I don't know how you guys feel about those, but
You're gonna hate me. I have not seen 21, but I've seen 22.
yeah, I do hate you. I'm just kidding.
I enjoy both.
Yeah, I really enjoyed both. Turns out, so we do have an announcement.
Hey,
yes.
guys, I'm gonna have to cut out of this episode.
Okay, everything all right?
My grandpa just passed away.
Oh, dude, I am so sorry.
Man.
All right, man. Well, that's fine. I get it. Yeah,
I hate
you do what you gotta do. Thank
brother.
later, man.
Love you guys.
Later, dude.
Love you, man.
Well,
That's a bummer.
yeah. Shit. Whew. Yeah, that really blows. Whew. Man, it's I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to him later. That's like a really
That's
big
rough.
thing.
My
Yeah.
grandpa passed away about this time last year.
My grandmother passed away around this time last year, so I get it.
Yours too?
Grandmother, yeah, like last year, my grandmother.
Grandmother. Yeah, my grandpa. Yeah, around this time.
Yeah, it was definitely November last year when I lost my grandmother, but damn it. Yeah, that really sucks. Oh boy, guys.
That's my this camera back here on the shelf. This was my grandpa's. I took it home from him. I keep it on my shelf. This was his. He was stationed in Japan in the 60s. He was in the Air Force. He bought this camera. I think it's from like 1959 or something. So this is an old ass camera. So when he passed away, this was the one thing I wanted. So I keep it on my shelf.
Right on. Oh, brother. All right. So yeah, guys. Sorry for the the whole thing there, but yeah, it just shows you, man. Life is short. I mean, it really is. It's comes and it goes, and man, that's a bummer. We wish Ian the best here. I mean, this is probably going to be a very tough week for him, and it sucks right around Thanksgiving, man. I know what it's like, but it really blows. You spend that first Thanksgiving without a loved one at the table that you're used to having there, man. It's
easy.
Very, very hard. I've been there, so yeah, we definitely wish Ian the best, and everybody watching, please show him your support and love during this difficult time. That is, yeah, that's not fun. But all right, guys, listen. We're gonna get to some news. So yeah, Jump Street. So we, Adam, you said that you enjoyed both Jump Street films, myself included. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed them. Yeah. So we did have an announcement that's actually, well, it kind of depends. I mean, I think it's pretty exciting. This announcement is we have. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to text at the same time here. So give me 1 second to pull this thing back up. Apologize. Yeah. So the new movie, Jump Street, Now for Her Pleasure, is the title of this thing. This is a supposedly, now this is really an interesting story because it was originally going to be called 24 Jump Street, which I find to be interesting because and when they asked Lord and Miller why this new one was going to be called 24, not 23, they actually responded with, we want to reserve the 23 Jump Street title for something else. So that also excites me. But this new one, apparently, from what I was reading, there are 3 people that were apparently attached at one point. I'm not sure that they're still attached to the project, but the 2 actresses that they had cast as the 2 main police officers for this was Zendaya and Tiffany Haddish, which I think could be really funny. But Adam, is this something that you'd be looking forward to, a Jump Street spinoff with women?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
I mean,
Yeah.
The gals that were that they had, like the women police officers, sorry, that they had in the 21 and 22 Jump Street movies were actually really, really funny and made for some pretty good comedy there. So if you kind of jump into like some of those other divisions, like I think that could be really, really funny. I mean, I like that we keep, I like the idea of that we keep finding these like undercover divisions and they're all on the same street. They're all on Jump Street. I think that's pretty hysterical. I think it was 22 Jump Street where they saw the one that was like right down the road. It said 23 Jump Street and it said coming soon or something. They always like to joke about the fact that, you know, they're making sequels out of these things, or that their budgets are getting bigger. They're very self-aware in these movies, and I think it really adds to the comedy. But yeah, personally, I say, you know, give me more Jump Street. I think that's I could probably watch 10 of those fucking things if they're funny. I mean, if you got Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill back to do it, I mean, that'd be even better.
Yeah, I definitely want to see another of them, because 21 and 22 were both consistent movies. Like, they were very solid movies.
I agree, man.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill, from what I understand, are pretty close. They're pretty good friends. So,
yeah, I mean, I like yeah, that's what I hear too. I think that you could definitely pull it off with those 2 again, and I feel like there's so many different things you can do, like with those 2 characters. I mean, they're cops, you know, and there are so many different types of crime stories that they could investigate, and I think they would all end up being hilarious just because you had those 2 in it, and that, you know, their chemistry.
What's Channing
awesome.
Tatum even done lately?
Nothing. I swear he's done nothing.
I was gonna say, I don't remember him being in anything in a long time. You know, now I'm gonna look it up.
It really feels like he fell off the face of the earth, like right when I was starting to really enjoy him as an actor. You know what I mean?
Right, like there was a particular time where he was like, no pun intended, he was hot. Like,
right. People
were really wanting some Channing Tatum, and then all of a sudden it was like, where'd Channing Tatum go?
I like how you have to say no pun intended before
no pun intended.
Before
I
you
mean,
say
we all know he's a
fine
Tatum. Male specimen. We all know that.
He's a good-looking guy, man. He's a very, very good-looking guy. That's without a doubt, dude. That is without a doubt. Oh
yeah, he was in The Hateful Eight. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was in The Hateful Eight for like
Hail Caesar, Lego Batman, Logan Lucky, Kingsman. The Smallfoot, he apparently did a voice in that. And the last thing was he did a voice in Lego Movie 2.
That second Kingsman movie, man, was not that great.
I didn't even watch it.
It's not that great. It's not terrible. It's just that first one was so fresh, man. And something about the second one was just...
I loved the first one. I was high on the first one. I thought that was such a fun watch. So I was super stoked about the possibility of turning it into like a whole franchise thing. And then like the trailer for the second one came out, and I was like, it doesn't feel the same. Like,
no,
it just didn't. And they gave away like the big secret, like in the trailer, which was just stupid. Yes. I was like, you got to be kidding me right now.
I don't know what was up with that. That was really a dumb thing to do. Like, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about too. We could spoil it. The Colin Firth thing being back in it, like that.
Yeah,
that he was still alive. Right. It didn't. Bastards.
Ridiculous. Why do you give away the biggest point of the movie? You're gonna give away in the trailer.
Oh boy,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
I really did not. I mean, it's not awful. I just did not enjoy that movie like I did the first one. The first one was, I don't know, man. Everything felt so new. Like I don't know I don't know how else to explain it. Like everything about the first movie felt new. I have high hopes for that. The prequel, The King's Man. I have high hopes for that. I really hope it redeems that second movie because, whoo, that was a bummer.
Well, I'll let you watch it first. You tell me if it's good and
right.
if I should waste my time on it or not.
That's typically how it works. I end up watching this
Yeah.
shit first, and then everybody else goes off my opinion. It looks better. I mean, that first trailer they dropped for it was like, it looks so like a retread of the first movie, but then that second trailer they dropped was really, really sick. I was like, oh, this actually might be good. I like that it takes place back in like the Prohibition era, and you know, it's cool. We're gonna see how this all kind of started and came together. Looks like a cool idea. So, all right. So moving into the next story, we have Deadpool 3 finally has been announced. Finally. All right, here's what we got. So we got the writers from Bob's Burgers coming on to write the script. We got Ryan Reynolds sticking around as a producer. We have Kevin Feige, unfortunately, also as a producer. I know that sounds crazy. I say unfortunately and Kevin Feige in the same sentence, but hear me out, guys. All right. So here's my feeling on this. I'm so excited to see a Deadpool 3, right? Like, I'm so stoked this finally got announced. However, with Disney owning it now and them kind of moving everything to like their streaming focus, I feel like number one, we're not going to be able to see this in the theater. I really do. I have a pretty good feeling this might not release in the theaters. But number two, the way I feel about it is that, like, you know, I don't want to say like the obvious, but like Disney owns it now. Is it going to be toned down? You know, now according to the report, it's still going to be R-rated, but I am a little fearful that it could get just slightly bogged down, and that's why I said unfortunately Kevin Feige also producing and overseeing this thing, because I feel like I love the Marvel movies. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like he's going to... I think Deadpool should just stand on its own. You know what I mean? Like, I like the fact that he stands on its own. Now, him, like, integrating into, like, the events of Endgame or something like that in a Deadpool 3, like, I could see them making some pretty good comedy out of that. Like, he's just standing on the highway or something and everybody around him just starts turning into ash. Like, I can imagine he could, like, you know, his reactions could be very funny to that. Like, or, you know, there's a lot of comedy they could do. I'm not saying that's going to be the plot, it's just like a thought, you know, but outside of that, I just really like it when he stands on his own, and I feel like Disney's going to try to integrate him into the MCU and all that, and I feel like I want him on his own, and I think they should have sold the property, and the reason why is because if Disney's going to focus in all streaming, let's say it does come out in the theater, which actually... Now, the more I think about it, it might, because it's $1 billion flick. To me, it's like all those things make over $1 billion. So, in my thinking here is actually they might release it in the theater, but I bet you the theatrical window is going to be shortened compared to what the last two were. And also, once it hits streaming, after that, where are people going to be able to find it? Because they're not going to put it on Disney Plus. I'll tell you that right now. It's definitely not going to go on Disney Plus because they don't put R-rated things on Disney Plus. It's just a fact. So
maybe they'll start.
I doubt it though. It'd be really off color if they just threw that on Disney Plus. But I don't know, Adam. How do you feel about Deadpool 3? Are you down for this or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I think the first one was probably my favorite. Second one was still really good.
Yeah.
So I'm down for a third one. Yeah, I definitely feel like they'll try to find a way to bring him in to the MCU with everybody else. I feel like that's really at this point, unless they have something really big that they're building to that they're just not giving clues on, I feel like that would be one of their best moves after Endgame. I feel like it kind of ripped the rug out from under us. We lost a lot of what kept us excited about Avengers movies and stuff like that, and the MCU in general. So I feel like a logical step for them, unless they have something huge planned, would be to somehow incorporate them. But you don't want to lose that spark, because on its own, Deadpool is a lot of fun. But I could also see standalone movies getting old after a while. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would be a nice change of pace to throw them in with the rest. It would bring a different color to the other movies.
Maybe. I just really like what they were setting up in that second one with like the X-Force and all that, like he's got his own team of people. And I thought those people were a lot of fun to watch that he was teaming up with, and they fit more in a Deadpool world. And I would just hate to see, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't hate it. I don't know because I haven't seen it, right? But I'm saying like, personally, the way I'm feeling about it is it'd be weird to me if they just stripped him from that and put him on this Avengers team and all that kind of stuff. And just Deadpool just works in his own sort of universe, I feel like. And it's his own universe, but it kind of seems to be able to travel through other universes too, all at the same time. So I feel like it's definitely, I don't know. It's a mixed bag for me right now. Like I'm still excited and I'm grateful that we're going to be able to see a Deadpool 3 at some point. And this character, to me, it's always fun to see. I mean, that you're right. I mean, I like the first movie better than the second, but the second movie was not bad by any means. It was pretty damn close to as good as the first movie. And and maybe you are correct, because part of what made the second movie to me almost as good as the first is they added freshness to it. They put more characters in there. They gave them a whole new kind of story. Actually, you know what Deadpool 2 felt like to me, that movie felt like it was Cable's movie, but Deadpool was in it. And I think that really worked for it. And so you might be onto something, that maybe it could be a little more fresh to see him, work with the other Marvel characters. I will say this, though. If it was me, if I was Disney, and I understand from the business side, like if they're able to put this in the theater, it's going to make like over $1 billion. Just in its sleep, it's going to make over $1 billion. That's just how popular this character is at this point with people. But if I was Disney, I might have sold this property. Just Deadpool. I might have just sold Deadpool. And it's just because I feel like there was like a lot of conversations and a lot of the fact that like not a lot of the original crew is attached to this except for Ryan Reynolds. Like they don't even have a director yet, because like apparently the guy who directed the last one. The fact that not a lot of the original crew is attached to it makes me feel like, well, they probably had a lot of conversations, and there's probably a lot of compromising they had to do now that it's owned by Disney, and I bet you a lot of the old crew did not agree with the compromises that they had to make in order to get this out there. That's kind of my fear. But I don't know, man. I hope it works. I hope Disney can make a really solid Deadpool movie.
That they're not going to sell it, though.
I understand why they're not. Yes, I understand why they're not, because like I said, it will make $1 billion in its sleep. They could put the name Deadpool 3 on a literal pile of poo and have people pay to come see it, and it will still make $1 billion because it's just such a popular IP.
I do think I kind of want them to integrate him into the rest of the MCU personally, because like I said, I think it'll add some freshness and to, like I said, with after Endgame, everything kind of changed. I'm personally, this is just me, I'm sure a lot of people are still really excited. I'm like not even interested in Marvel movies anymore. There is nothing really that I'm interested in, because I feel like it got so good, and then there was the climax and it just exploded, and then it's kind of like back to the basics now, and the characters we're left with, I'm kind of like meh on. So on a personal level, I'm not that excited about the Marvel MCU anymore because everything I loved about it is gone except for a couple characters.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be interesting to incorporate Deadpool into
Yeah.
that. It would be interesting because that would just having him in your movie would cause your rating to go
Yeah.
up. I mean, with the kind of language he uses. So I don't know how they would navigate that. But I just think if you keep making Deadpool standalone movies, I think they're going to get old, like quick. I think that type of humor by itself would get old. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely thought the first one was hilarious, and I thought the second one was also hilarious. But even by the second one, I was like, I wonder how they'll keep doing this type of humor. Like, when is this going to get spent?
Yeah.
Because even though I think this is funny, when I watch it multiple times, it starts getting old to me. So I know that if we get 3, 4, 5 movies of Deadpool, after a while, I'm going to be like, okay, I need something fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, I mean, even if they don't like add him into the MCU or anything like that, I mean, adding the Bob Burgers writers is a pretty interesting thing. That can add like a fresh new tone to it. You know what I mean? Just because they, I think that I could see them writing for a Deadpool, but I feel like that if you've ever seen Bob's Burgers, that type of humor is different too. You know what I mean? It's their own kind of brand of it. So I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is also very specific too about what he likes to do with the characters. So the fact that he gets, you know, some type of producer credit on this has to be pretty good, I would think. And I hope he takes care of it. And I hope they found an agreement that has made him actually happy and he's not just doing this for the fans. You know what I mean?
Part of me wonders if a Deadpool movie can even flop. Like, is it even possible for a Deadpool movie to flop? Because where people's, like, in all honesty, though, because think about where people's humor is right now. People our age that are like really into Deadpool, that type of humor, it's weird. Like, our generation of people, it's almost like we just like dirty and messed up dark humor just for the sake of it being dirty and messed up. Like, it doesn't always have to even mean anything or make a lot of sense. It's just the fact that for the first movie, or for the first time, it feels like we're getting a big movie that is just like no humor is off limits. And I think that specifically the millennial generation has a fascination with just pointless, dark, dirty humor. So I feel like they're gonna like it no matter what. But also with the type of movie that it is, with, you know, breaking the fourth wall and everything, and Deadpool being very self-aware, it's almost impossible for it to flop anyway, because it can make fun of its own plot holes, and it can make fun of its own issues with writing and stuff like that. Like, because Deadpool's constantly coming out and commenting on the movie itself. So it's like, it, because of the way that they designed it and the audience that is attached to it, is it even possible for it to flop?
I don't know, man. It's really an interesting thing with Deadpool because, take my parents, for example. They don't typically like movies that are like over the top with like swearing and just this really crude.
My parents hate
type humor. But for some reason, man, when Deadpool's coming out, they are excited about Deadpool. They like Deadpool. They want more Deadpool.
My parents will never watch Deadpool. No way, no how. That, just like they'll never watch Wolf of Wall Street. Those two things they will never watch.
Ah, boy. Yeah.
I'm the black sheep in my family. Well, other than, I think, my cousins. I think we're the only ones that actually like Wolf of Wall Street. Everybody else in the family is so conservative. It's like, just the idea of watching it is awful.
Right. Yeah, man, I don't know. But yeah, no, at this juncture, to answer your question, because of where it's at, no, I don't think a Deadpool movie can flop. I told you, they could put Deadpool 3 on a piece of shit and it would still make $1 billion in its sleep, like a literal piece of shit, because it's such a big IP at this point. And yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, is that it is so crude, and our generation is rebellious, and they like to be like, "Oh, crude! We're gonna go see that because it's crude and it's shocking," and and it knows it's shocking too. That's the other thing. Like, you look at the opening scene in the first movie where he's got the guy on the fucking what do you call those his blades. He's just he's like, he makes that joke about, my boyfriend said we were going to go see a superhero movie, and I'm wondering why, this guy just has this guy on a stick like a fucking kebab. Like, it is self-aware like that, and it knows what it's doing. And yeah, man, but this will be interesting. I think, you're right. It's not going to flop. There's no way it's going to flop, and that's not necessarily what I'm worried about. It's just, I'm worried about the future of this character. You know what I mean? If it gets like really bad reviews for whatever reason, I mean, maybe they sell at that point and they're like, okay, clearly we don't know what we're doing with this character. Maybe that was part of the agreement Ryan Reynolds, has with them. And, he was like, well, if we, if it gets bad reviews, you got to sell it, who knows? But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I had to say on that topic, I guess. So it'll be interesting. All right, so this one I'm actually excited to talk with you about specifically. So we have Coming to America got its official release dates. Coming to America got its official release date on March 5th. Yeah, dude. I'm bummed and I'm excited. I'm bummed because it was supposed to come out in December. On the same hand, anything that indicates that this thing is going to come out is just exciting, because this is something I want to see. Did you watch Dolomite Is My Name, by the way?
I did.
Did you like it? I haven't seen it yet.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah?
Yeah. I remember being kind of somewhere in between. I was like, it's not the funniest thing I've ever seen, but it's not awful either. It's different.
Well, most people tell me it did definitely bring Eddie Murphy back, though. Like, it's definitely in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a character.
Yeah.
So we know Eddie likes playing those type of people.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I still gotta watch it. It's so Coming to America is from Craig Brewer, same director as what was the fucking movie? Dolomite Is My Name. So yeah, and this is going to be released on Amazon Prime on March 5th. I'm stoked. I don't need to see this one in the theater. Give it to me at home. I really feel that way about something like this.
I would go to see it in the theater.
I would if it was there.
For sure.
Of course I would if it was there, but I don't need it in the theater. If you could just deliver it to something I'm already subscribed to, even better, I say, with this type of movie. But yeah, I love the first Coming to America. It's, to me, gosh, you know what? I think 48 Hours is the better movie, but Coming to America is up there. I mean, it's up there with Eddie Murphy's movies.
I love 48 Hours.
48 Hours is the best.
And Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop also. I have all those.
Which they're supposed to be making another Beverly Hills Cop, if I remember right.
Yeah, and 48 Hours. 48 Hours is going to be a very different 48 Hours.
I'm just like so excited that we're finally getting Eddie Murphy back. Like, he just disappeared for a while, and I grew up, like, there were several actors when I was young that almost single-handedly shaped my sense of humor and a big portion of my personality. Like, I wouldn't be the person I am today if it weren't for Robin Williams, John Candy, and Eddie Murphy are the first three people that come to mind. Like,
Bill's not in there?
Just looked up to. So, there's Bill Murray also, which I met him. I met him when I was a kid.
That's awesome.
So that was a big deal. But yeah, definitely. Those actors, comedians, whatever you want to call them, they're just my like Mount Rushmore of old funny movie guys. So I'm super stoked to be getting Eddie Murphy again. Another Eddie Murphy thing, for years I've been waiting on this for years, because I heard a rumor about this, like, I don't even know how long ago. It's been a very long time. I'm pretty sure I was still in high school when I heard the movie Twins was supposed to get a sequel called Triplets, and Eddie Murphy was going to be the triplet.
I remember that.
I waited for so long to get confirmation if that was going to be a real thing or not. And then a year or two ago, it was actually a legit thing on IMDb.
I remember that
if there's any news on that.
That was floating around. I remember that story. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's still on IMDb. There's no like release date. It says it's in pre-production. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Wow.
Danny DeVito, and Eddie Murphy. Like,
I'll
come
take
on.
it. I'll take it. Pre-production? Hell yeah, man. I'll take it. Yeah, dude. Listen, man. Make no mistake about it. Eddie Murphy, as far as from where I sit, Eddie Murphy is the best stand-up comedian of all time. Like, from where I sit, and he made some classic comedies that I grew up with as well as you did, and I cannot wait for this. Coming to America is amongst my favorite movies of his. Like, it's awesome. And Craig Brewer, I didn't see the Dolomite or Is My Name. I saw his Footloose remake, which was really, really good. I know you have some bad feelings about Footloose, but
I don't like Footloose in general.
But listen, I thought his remake was really, really good and stood up there with the original. So I'm excited to see Craig Brewer direct this. I'll watch Dolomite. I'll have to watch that and see how I like that. But yeah, man, coming to America is gonna be. I hope it's fantastic. I just had this really good feeling about it.
I'm stoked. I'm gonna like it no matter what.
Probably.
It's basically like a new Eddie Murphy movie, like a sequel Eddie Murphy movie at this point is basically like me seeing a new Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It doesn't matter how good it is. I'm going to like it because I'm such a fan of him as an actor.
Yeah.
So I am super stoked about this movie, but also the fact that it's almost been alluded like in his interviews and late night appearances. And if you watch Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, when he's talking with Jerry about doing stand-up and how he's kind of nervous to get back to stand-up and stuff. But it's kind of alluding to the fact that maybe he's preparing to start coming back and getting on the stage again. And I think that's extremely exciting.
I heard he was going around clubs practicing right before this pandemic hit. So, I mean, I'm excited to see that, dude. I mean, Delirious is my favorite stand-up comedy special of all time. I think it is the best of all time, in my opinion. And I think anybody that watches that, I understand there's things in there that are dated and some of the jokes are not going to fly today in that, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, but look at what Dave Chappelle's doing right now.
That's very true.
Honestly, no, like dead serious. One of my favorite stand-ups of all time is one of Dave Chappelle's recent ones, one of his darker ones where he makes a lot of very
Sticks and Stones.
Color.
I just watched that.
I don't remember which one it is because he released so many of them and I watched them all like in the course of a couple days. But the one where specifically don't get angry at me. Don't shoot the messenger here. But the one specifically where he makes jokes about the gay community and the trans community, I remember that specific one because he jokes about it extensively. Right. And it's like there's like half the audience thinks it's hilarious and half the audience is kind of like So it's like this wonderful dissonance. But I really like that type of humor that is like I almost shouldn't be listening to this and they shouldn't really be talking about it. But because it's kind of off limits, it makes it funny. I don't know. To me, I'm always the type of person that I love comedy, and I'm also kind of like humanitarian. Like I love people. I want everybody to, love each other and be nice to each other. But I'm also a fan of comedy, and that means that nothing is off limits. So
you got to be careful about how you do it. Like to me, it's like. Or how we say this, I guess, but to me, it's like it shouldn't be off limits if it's funny. And to me, like the comedy club is where comedians go to practice these jokes, and I feel like if they genuinely didn't get a laugh off of them, in the comedy clubs, then they probably would have retired the joke. You know what I mean? Like if they did the jokes and everybody was just offended, then they retire the joke. Like that's just how that works. I mean, that's why they don't want phones in comedy clubs, because they're afraid people are gonna gotcha. You know what I mean? Because they're practicing. That's their place to practice.
It really almost rides on the comedian themselves. Like, is that comedian popular and established? I feel like an established comedian that is known for making kind of off kilter type of humor can get away with doing a lot of stuff. And Dave Chappelle's always been that person that, like, nothing is off limits. Right. So when he says something really offensive, everybody's like, oh, it's just Dave Chappelle. Right. But if someone else goes on stage and says that, it's like they're going to get Me Too'd real quick.
Oh, yeah. If it's like a new comedian, you got to be able to evolve yourself to that point. You got to be real seasoned. And it's like some newbie that gets up there, and then, yeah, obviously everybody's going to be mad, and probably us included, because in all honesty, a new comedian probably doesn't know how to work the joke the right way.
You haven't earned our trust yet.
Yeah.
You haven't built a relationship with your audience. Whereas Dave Chappelle, we all know Dave Chappelle, and we know, obviously not personally who he is off stage, but we know enough about his personality and know that he's not a bad person. He's a good person.
Yeah.
He's he's really funny, and he says stuff that he just doesn't care. He says it because it's funny, not because he's a bad person, just because he knows it's going to get a laugh. But I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely depends on the delivery. If you don't know how to deliver it right, it can completely screw you up. But like you said, if it didn't pass the test of, holding up in the small comedy club, they're not going to push it forward. But that's the thing, is if Dave Chappelle says a really off-kilter joke, people are going to laugh because it's Dave Chappelle. No matter what the joke is, they're going to laugh. But there is always that community of people online that just, like, you got one blogger writes an article about Dave Chappelle said this in his stand-up, and then you get like a bunch of people that share the article and they're like, he's a terrible person, but the stand-up itself is like, well, everybody there laughed at it and it's got great reviews. But there's always going to be somebody that's not happy with comedy.
Here's the thing, man. If they don't laugh at it, like if like, say, like Dave Chappelle, he's one of these guys, man. He knows how to maneuver it, because, like, if he says a joke, even like a special, or like there was one in SNL that he said, I can't remember the exact joke, but on his last SNL appearance, he made a joke and nobody was laughing at it. So if you observe what Dave does, he can maneuver his body language in such a way, even if they didn't laugh at it, that it's going to make them laugh at it. You know what I mean? And you see it in the SNL. It's like, that guy, that's how comedians work, man. It's an art.
And he'll insult you for not laughing at it, too, which makes you laugh.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's definitely something special about his delivery, but
yeah, and guys,
I don't know. I love that type of comedy that he has that makes you uncomfortable. You know you shouldn't laugh at it, but it's just funny. It's funny because of his delivery. And I'll say this. I am a Christian. I don't obviously like hearing people joke about the thing that I am religious about. Like, if I'm hearing jokes about Jesus or God or something, because I'm a Christian, I take offense to it because that's my belief. But I recognize that the person saying it doesn't hold that belief. So I can't stop them from saying it. I might turn it off. I might fast forward it just because of my beliefs. I am not set up to think that's funny, and it's not a joking matter to me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go online and I'm going to smear the person's name, because not everybody has the same beliefs and not everybody has the same type of humor. So it's just like, if you find it offensive, then in terms of comedy, then you just you fast forward it and move on. It's not like they're physically harming people. It's a joke. A lot of times the stuff they joke about is just something that they wrote when they were taking a dump anyway, and they just thought it was funny. And it's not like they believe it. They just knew it was going to get a laugh.
There's a lot of truth to that, for sure. I mean, Yeah, definitely. Let's move into this next story. So Wonder Woman 84. We kind of Ian and I actually kind of talked about this last week. And this was just we were at the time it was rumored that 84 was going to come out in theaters on Christmas Day, and then on HBO Max on January 14th. Well, nope. It turns out it's both on Christmas Day. This has officially been announced now. Wonder Woman 84 is going to theaters on December 25th, and on HBO Max on December 25th. So you'll be able to do either or if you want. Adam, first of all, did you like the first Wonder Woman movie, and how do you feel about this news?
I did.
Yeah.
I actually really liked the first Wonder Woman movie. Surprisingly, because DC lately has been very hit or miss for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't expecting anything too big. Part of me was excited. I was like, okay, Wonder Woman, that's cool. But also I was like, well, I wonder if they're going to deliver. But I feel like they delivered. I really enjoyed it. I like how she portrays Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Thought the movie itself was a lot of fun, action packed.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna watch the new one. We'll see where it goes. I don't have like amazing high expectations for DC just because of how hit or miss their stuff has been lately.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm going to be sprinting to my TV to turn it on, but
Gotcha.
I did really enjoy the last one, so I will watch it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, you got Patty Jenkins back on this one as well, directing. So I think she's hopefully can make another hit. I mean, that first one, you are right. Like especially at that time, like DC. It depends on who you are. I mean, I personally have actually enjoyed a lot of the DC stuff. I'm one of the few that have actually really dug most of what DC's done. Suicide Squad being the one that I've kind of fallen down on the more I've watched it, though, because that movie's... The more I watch it, the more boring it becomes.
That soundtrack, though.
The soundtrack
was hot.
That is like the only movie which its soundtrack was more successful than the movie itself.
I still listen to the soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack.
It's a banger.
100%, man. 100%. But, I enjoyed Man of Steel a lot, actually. I really liked Batman v Superman.
Oh, yeah. I liked Man of Steel.
Man of Steel was great, I thought. Batman v Superman was a nice little follow-up, especially the 3-hour R-rated cut, which is the version I recommend. I actually really enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean, Justice League was a bummer. Suicide Squad has become more of a bummer. But Wonder Woman was the one that was the hit at the time, because like none of these movies were really making the money that they had expected. And when Wonder Woman came out, it was a surprise that it turned out as good as it did. I mean, because none of these DC movies were hitting. I mean, again, I agree with you. Like, Gal Gadot plays the character incredibly well. She's not just... I think a lot of our fear was they cast her to look pretty, and I'm sorry. I mean, she was like a model before she was an actress, so...
And there's still controversy
out,
about that. Like, about people like, oh, they still objectified her and blah, blah, blah.
Why? I mean...
And I'm like... I felt like she played a really strong female character.
Yeah, me too.
She's a beautiful woman. Like, she just is.
Yeah.
But I felt that wasn't the only thing that the movie was about. Like,
yeah,
she was a very strong female character, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know a lot about Wonder Woman, truth be told, because, I mean, let's be honest, but we have had a tendency to focus on male superheroes throughout history in general. So I didn't grow up being really familiar with Wonder Woman. So that was partially why I wasn't super excited about it, because I didn't know a lot about Wonder Woman, because it wasn't focused on when I was a kid. It was always the guys.
Yeah.
And so now it is nice. It's fresh to finally get to see some strong female superheroes and prove that those movies can be just as good, if not better, than a lot of the other superhero movies that we're used to getting. So I wasn't expecting too much, because it wasn't a character that I had on a pedestal when I was a kid, like something like Batman. But when I watched it, I remember looking at Megan and being like, this was a solid movie. Like, this was a really good movie. I would watch it again.
Right. I mean, definitely, man. Yeah, I've seen that one quite a few times actually at this point, and every time it still holds up. I mean, it really never gets old. So, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of this more business wise too. I mean, I don't know if how I feel about the streaming in theater at the same time. I understand there are extenuating circumstances in the world right now. Uh, I don't know, man. It's kind of a bummer. I'm personally at this point, I don't think I'm gonna go out to the movie theater, especially on Christmas. I'm not gonna go out, even if it was not a pandemic. I don't think I would have gone on Christmas.
I don't see people going out on Christmas during a
Yeah,
pandemic.
yeah,
That's like two big things at one time. It's already big for me to go out on Christmas.
yeah,
And then you put that there's a pandemic on top of it. And it's like, well, I just,
yeah.
no.
I mean, however, I will say it might not be the worst thing in the world because I will do a free trial for this to watch it on HBO Max. Because I was gonna wait for the Snyder cut of the Justice League to come out next year, but they're getting me a little earlier here because I was gonna go see this anyway. I can do the free trial on HBO Max and watch it for free now, which is, pretty good, so it's a really good deal. It's much better than putting Mulan out on Disney Plus for
How much
$30.
is HBO Max?
I think it's $14.99.
I don't have HBO Max. I don't know that I'll get it unless something really, really big happens. But my sister had our Disney Plus subscription, and our whole family used it. And I think she canceled it recently. So I went to watch. Actually, when I went to watch Rogue One, I was like, I couldn't watch it. So now I have a Disney Plus subscription because I was like, well, I gotta have access to Mandalorian.
Right? Yeah, you can't just not. Right. Oh, I agree, man. I mean, that's for that price though that they have on that. That's looking. I mean, that's a really nice price on Disney Plus.
$6.99 is not bad.
It's really good for the content you're getting on there, and I agree.
It is.
They're gonna really
pay that for Mandalorian alone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're gonna start really getting you in there too. I mean, they're gonna have these Marvel series. That's a point I wanted to make earlier. I mean, they do have the series coming out, for MCU and all that. So, but yeah, I mean, that's yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I'll pay for HBO Max. I'll probably pay for it when the Snyder Cut comes out because that's just got me overly curious. But I will do the trial for Wonder Woman. It's a free watch of Wonder Woman, a movie that I was going to pay $10 to see anyway, right? So I think it's definitely worth it. And it's
worth a trial.
It's so nice that they're not, making you pay extra for this like Disney did with Mulan. Like I liked Mulan.
Was crap.
Was it worth $30? No. Especially when I was already a subscriber.
Stupid to charge $30 to watch that digital movie, which was hit or miss. I haven't even watched it yet. Yeah. But
I thought it was a great movie. I know a lot of people have been down on it. I actually thought it was great, but not worth $30. And then not only do they charge their subscribers $30, like I think like a month later they put it out for $30 on all VOD services. So it's like, yeah, you really got screwed there. So they need they need to get better. So I'm glad they're doing the right thing with Wonder Woman here.
Rarely did I even pay $30 for a physical copy. Like $25 when we worked at FYE, like when I actually bought movies, $25 was like my limit. Unless I was buying like a 4K edition of a movie I really cared about, I would pay $30, maybe $35 if it was like a special edition.
Yeah.
But I rarely did I even pay $25. It was basically 20 and under is where I'm buying. So $30 for a digital release of Mulan, which I was excited to watch, but also didn't know how it was going to be. So I was like, I'm not paying $30 for this.
Wasn't worth $30. It was a great movie. Not worth $30. So you probably made the right choice, honestly, because, well, I don't know. I still probably would have paid $30. I'm thinking
it'll be free eventually.
I can go back, but yeah, that's true. Definitely. Oh, actually, eventually, December, you're going to have it on your Disney Plus subscription. For free.
Okay.
So, yeah, you'll have it.
I'll watch it in December and we'll follow up.
All right. So, let's see. What do we got here next? All right, Adam, I don't think you've watched this series, Euphoria. I don't think you've watched this. Zendaya actually just recently won the Emmy for the show. She really did remarkable work in it. So I was excited, but I think you could actually still speak to this just from somebody who likes to watch their series. I mean, I know you like your you binge different series, so how do you, especially now with Mandalorian being a week-to-week thing. So last year, I gotta tell you, one of my favorite experiences was watching the show Big Little Lies, and then after that on HBO, it was a week-to-week thing. Euphoria would come on, so that was one of my favorite experiences last summer. Didn't get to have it this summer, but again, extenuating circumstances kind of shut down production. Well, Euphoria, it's either back today or coming back soon. I gotta check into this, but it's coming back, but they're only going to put out 2 episodes from season 2. And if you've seen this show, it's very cliffhangery at the end of each episode. This is the way they kind of like to format this. I don't know, man. Imagine you're watching like Breaking Bad or something. They were like, okay, we're going to bring back the new season, but we're only going to put out 2 episodes for right now. How do you feel about that? Like, would you...
I can tell you exactly how I feel about something like that, because I am a fan of the Grand Tour.
There you go.
For all of my Top Gear fans on here, let's get this straight right now. The Grand Tour is one of my favorite shows, period.
That's Amazon Prime, right? Sorry to interject.
Yeah.
That's, okay, just making sure. Okay.
Top Gear, I was a huge fan of. So Grand Tour, I latched onto, and then they switched the format so that they're only doing specials. So we thought, okay, we're gonna get less episodes instead of doing it in the tent and doing their, car reviews and test drives and stuff. They're just doing the specials, which take more work, so it takes more time to produce. So they're going to do less per season. And it ended up being last December, they released episode 1 of, what is it, season 4? All year long we went, not another episode. And in several weeks, mid-December, we're getting episode 2. A year later. 1 episode a year. So I can tell you exactly how I feel about doing that to an audience, because I'm about to ready to send. I'm not just sending Ray Park boxes of poop anymore.
Yeah,
I'm sending other people boxes of poop.
Listen, man. Yeah, I don't understand why they just didn't wait till they had this whole season shot. Like, it was like, we're gonna take what we had from season 2. I mean, this show's been renewed. I don't understand. Like, if HBO renewed the thing, then wait. It's really, really an odd decision. I mean, I get trying to keep momentum up. Believe me, I do. And to keep people hyped. Given I haven't seen what the episodes contain, but I can just tell you the show in general, every episode pretty much ended with the cliffhanger. So we're going to get 2 episodes, I feel like. It's going to have this massive cliffhanger at the end of the second one, and you're going to be like, what the hell, man? Like, it's a weird thing to me.
So is there any clue as to when episodes will come after that?
No, because they haven't finished filming them. That's the other thing.
Okay, so they finished filming those 2, they're going to release them, and then they're going to finish filming the other ones.
Right, and that's like, that could be really, really wonky, because I doubt they have any idea when they're going to be able to start again with the state of the world right now.
Yeah,
it's very odd
about all that.
Yeah, very odd to me. And there's also, of course, there's cliffhangers that we need answered from season 1, because the season ended with the big cliffhanger. So I'm sitting here like, and I'm a massive fan of the show, and I'm excited to watch these 2 episodes. I'm probably still going to do it because I'm a fan, so good on them. But,
it's an interesting technique.
It's really, really weird.
I thought maybe it was like an experiment, like how with music, a lot of artists are either releasing singles and then releasing all of those singles and grouping them on an album, or some artists aren't even releasing albums, they're just releasing a crap load of singles. And it's like, there's like weird experimentation, or like Tech 9 released like multiple EPs and then grouped all those EPs together
Right.
and released a full-length album.
All right.
So it's like the music world is doing some weird experimental release stuff. So it's like I don't want my TV shows to start doing that. I want you to release one a week or release them all at the same time.
It's possible. I mean, it's possible they're kind of going by an artist mentality like that, like because I think Zendaya is a producer on the show, and I think she's a singer, right? So she's kind of got that artist mentality. Maybe that was something that, she was like, hey, let's try this because a lot of musical artists are doing it, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think the idea is to hold your audience's attention and make them feel like they're getting new stuff.
Keep momentum so it doesn't die.
Also,
yeah,
with singles a lot of times will get a lot of streams.
Yeah, that's true.
So then you can get a bunch of streams on all your individual singles that you release periodically, and then when you group them together on an album, people will not only have they already streamed all your singles, but now they will buy and stream your whole album. So I don't know if maybe that carries over to the statistics of what they're trying to do at this show, or if it's all just like they've just only recorded 2 and they just want to get it out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. So speaking of Euphoria, though, season 2, this is actually really interesting, this next story, because I just got done saying how they have not been able to go into filming for Euphoria season 2 yet, or at least to finish it out outside of these 2 episodes. Well, this is really interesting to me. Malcolm and Marie is a movie that was just bought by Netflix for $30 million. Here's why this is interesting. This movie was written and directed by the creator of Euphoria and stars Zendaya, as I'm assuming Marie. And here's the other thing that's really, really cool about this. I think that this is going to be about Malcolm X, I'm assuming. Do you know anything about Malcolm X that you would like? Was he married to somebody named Marie that you know of? Or?
I'm not familiar with who his spouse was.
Interesting. No. Okay. If this is Malcolm X, and I actually feel like it might be, I probably should have done that research before talking about it, but it's just kind of hitting me that the person that's playing Malcolm and Marie is John David Washington, who's Denzel's son, and Denzel has played Malcolm X before. So if he's going to be playing Malcolm X, that's a really, really cool thing.
No, Malcolm X's wife was named Betty.
Interesting. So it won't be Malcolm X. Well, either way. This movie was shot pretty much in secret. Not a lot of people knew this movie was shot. It's already gotten a lot of buzz, and Netflix just bought it for $30 million. This is actually, I think it's coming out in February, which is actually the new cutoff for Oscar season this year. So a lot of people think that this is going to be one of those that's going to generate a lot of award buzz. Again, they're not really revealing a lot of details about this movie, last I checked, though. But again, what's interesting to me is they could not finish Euphoria, but the creator of that made this movie in secret with Zendaya involved, and John David Washington. I don't know, Adam, what do you think? I mean, does that sound fishy?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it could be HBO's given the order on Euphoria, like, you can't do this, and then the writer and director went and did this movie independently instead. You know what I mean? So that's like always a possibility. It's just really, really odd, like the way that these two things just are kind of connecting here. It's a really odd thing, but I don't know, man. I don't know. The only image that I saw was Zendaya and John David Washington. They look like they're going to be a couple in the movie, and it's a black and white image. That. So yeah, I'm really interested in what this is all.
I really like John David Washington.
He's awesome. He was awesome in he's awesome Black Klansman, first of all, and then
so good.
Yeah,
I really liked that movie,
and he was phenomenal in Tenet. I actually think I liked him more in Tenet than Black Klansman. Like,
I really want to watch Tenet.
He was super cool in that movie, man. Like
I wish
super
I
duper cool.
could have gone to see it in theater.
Yeah. Really, really amazing movie. Hey, it's coming out and you'll be able to rent it or whatever in December here, so it's coming up right around the corner. But yeah, that was definitely an IMAX watch, not to make you feel bad. That was something you would have wanted to see in IMAX, but I still think you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Just rent it in 4K. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anything less for that, something like that. So, yeah. Yeah, so let's move into this. God damn it. Finally, we are getting Chaos Walking. This movie has been in production for ages and ages and ages. At one point, this film was called Unsalvageable. It was such a mess, but, you know, as you and I were just talking about Rogue One, which was considered to be unsalvageable, and look how that turned out. So, trailer finally has come out for Chaos Walking. This movie stars Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, and Mads Mikkelsen. Directed by Doug Liman. I like Doug Liman. Edge of Tomorrow was really a really fun movie. Really fun sort of sci-fi action movie that was really well done. Had no business.
I really liked that movie.
That movie had no business being as good as it was. So I actually gotta say I have some faith in this. Just based on Doug Liman. I mean, he definitely knows how to make a sci-fi action film. Adam, did you watch the Chaos Walking trailer?
I did.
How do you feel?
I don't know. I'm still not really 100% sure what the heck it's about.
It's a good point.
I was like, I'm watching this, but I really have no idea what exactly this is about. Obviously, I love Tom Holland. I love Daisy Ridley. It's just, it looks interesting, I guess. We'll see. I mean, I'll watch it because I really like both of them. But just from the trailer, it wasn't a movie that I was excited to watch. I don't know. I half expect it to be kind of a flop.
Huh.
But we'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see indeed. I mean, it's being dumped in January, which is never a good sign, but that's kind of been turning around lately. I mean, you look at... what was Bad Boys for Life did tremendous in the box office, you know, and that was.
I keep forgetting to watch that one too, and I'm a huge Bad Boys fan.
Best one, man, best one by a long shot. I can say that with confidence.
That's a tall order. I really like Bad Boys.
I think you'll like this one the best. I can say it with confidence. It's the only one that critics liked was this new Bad Boys. Yeah, I like Bad Boys as well, but this new one was beyond great.
Well, there's something about Martin Lawrence accidentally high on pills, flashing his boobs. Mike, take the picture. I love that moment in the movie. So funny.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, Adam, did you watch Mandalorian this week?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk about that. We'll save it for the end because I want to dive into that spoiler heavy with you. But here we go. All right, so before we do that, guys, speaking of Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal's new movie's coming out. It's called We Can Be Heroes. This one's directed by Robert Rodriguez. Seems to star Pedro Pascal. At least he's narrating throughout the trailer. Always great when we can see Mando in other projects, but... this trailer was really short, 44 seconds long, but such a throwback to our childhoods. To see Shark Boy and Lava Girl appear in this movie was quite something. I mean, or appear in this trailer was actually kind of cool. I mean, listen, that movie it doesn't hold up at all. Shark Boy and Lava Girl, not like one bit, but with the new technology we have and everything, I think that Robert Rodriguez can make a really cool, like, kind of reboot of that. Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't impressed with the trailer, like, a lot, but it was only 44 seconds, so it's like, how am I supposed to judge that? Seems that Shark Boy and Lava Girl are parents. It looks like this is definitely going to be another Robert Rodriguez movie that's going to be geared more toward children. For sure. Listen, man, I love Spy Kids, though. Like, Spy Kids is like...
Oh, come on!
It's one of my favorite Robert Rodriguez movies. If they show up in this
McDonald's
movie...
and getting those Spy Kids toys with your Happy Meal? Come on, now.
Spy
Kids 3D, that was the coolest thing ever.
It was awesome. I'd rather them show up in this movie than Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I mean...
you remember the thumbs?
Yeah. Of course. They were awesome. It's amazing.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But I feel like that's what we're gonna get here is something ridiculous like that. Like, so it could be a lot of fun to watch. Like, if they show up, if the Spy Kids show up, I'll be even more excited. They need to show up with Uncle Machete. I mean, because that's like the only thing, in my opinion, that can really make me any more excited for this. Not that I'm that excited for it, but still. Did you watch this 44-second We Can Be Heroes trailer? Or?
No, I didn't.
You didn't miss much.
I don't really know much about it, but from the sounds of it, sounds like a movie that I'm probably not gonna be interested in, but maybe kids will like it. So
it'll be on Netflix, so you might enjoy it. you might be able to check it out.
Like it. If it's anything like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, I'm not gonna watch it.
Well, let me tell you, the first half of the trailer felt like it was geared toward adults. Like, you had Pedro Pascal on there. It looks like his character is going to be super cool. He's always cool, but it looks like his character is going to be like just as cool as he is as the Mandalorian. He pulls out these like Deadpool looking things. Like he looks like he's got this black suit on. He looks like he's going to be awesome, and he's narrating
Plot
this
twist.
thing.
He's actually the Mandalorian.
With the way
Mandalorian with Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
With the way Robert Rodriguez directs his movies, I would not be surprised if something so out of left field happened. I forgot Robert Rodriguez is directing an episode of Mandalorian this season. I can't remember which one. It's down the road, but yeah. You know what? Did you watch Alita Battle Angel, by the way?
No, I didn't. I've listened to the soundtrack a few times.
That's Robert Rodriguez's last movie, which I thought was his best, I think, to date. Like, well,
it looked really bizarre.
It's awesome. It's the visuals, man, are like you'll love it for the visuals. I know you well enough to know that you're gonna love it for the visuals alone. But it's got cool action and all that. It's just a really fun movie that was like based off of something that's like new. It felt really fresh. It's like this is something new that we can geek out about. I hope it gets a sequel. I don't know if it will because it didn't do that well. But that was a really... I wish he was making another one of those. Like, because I definitely watched that over this We Can Be Heroes thing. I was also surprised to hear that David Bowie's We Can Be Heroes was not playing in the background of this trailer. I mean, you would think. But it might have been more fitting. But yeah, the second half of the thing felt a little more childish, so... I don't know how I'm feeling about it. The first half is cool. The second half, not so much, so... Yeah, we'll see. All right. So to close out the show, I am going to throw up the big spoiler warning for everybody, and we're going to talk about this Mandalorian episode. Adam, real quick overall, how'd you feel about the episode, just in general?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's not super easy for me to be disappointed with Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I like it a lot, but yeah, we got some new stuff, some possible new interesting information. So yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, definitely some new interesting developments happening in this universe. I'm assuming that when there's a specific scene where they're walking by some tanks, some Bacta tanks, and I'm assuming you saw what I saw in the Bacta tank.
Yeah, they weren't goldfish.
You could say it. This is spoiler heavy. So, I mean, did you see Supreme Leader Snoke by chance, or a version of that?
That's. I mean, obviously, I think where most of our minds are going.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that this is all tying into. They're gonna figure out how to recreate the Emperor somehow through all this stuff.
Didn't I bring up in one of our sequel trilogies a theory about which I actually had thought of literally as I was sitting on that episode?
No. Hold on. Actually, I said it on accident, and then I retracted it because I was like, well, nah, they won't do that. And then you were like, wait a minute. When does Mandalorian take place? And I was like, well, it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And then I think you were like, well, then, yeah. And then we kind of dove into, like, how it could be the child. They could use some of that DNA, maybe. And then, yeah. So it was like, and then that all kind of had us thinking, like, well, holy shit. Maybe that's actually going to happen. Yeah,
what it's
dude.
Looking like.
Yeah, really
it's
interesting.
Funny that we had just talked about that, too.
Yeah. Definitely. Something else I wanted to say about this was this episode to me. First of all, Carl Weathers, A+ for him for directing this one, because he did a phenomenal job just with the directing of it. I mean, the action sequences were on point in this for sure. Also, the thing I wanted to bring up, that this episode to me felt the most Star Wars that any of them have, and I think that that's why, my personal opinion, it was my favorite. Do you know what I mean? Like, it definitely like had the more of the Star Wars stuff like feel to it. Like, there were like tons of stormtroopers. We had the Imperial
I
base.
did like that. I liked having. I'm enjoying having the stormtroopers and having some battles. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the speeder bikes, when those two dumbasses, by the way, crashed their speeder bikes into one another, I laughed out loud because I was like, Jesus Christ, what idiots. But the scene just played so well. I got like goosebumps, dude, when like Mando came in with the Razor Crest there at the end and started taking out the TIE fighters. And then they even took a little bit from Last Jedi there when he was doing the spin move in the Razor Crest. Like, all that stuff was amazing. Yeah, I mean, the cloner guy, when they pulled the hologram and he's talking about the child they need. Did you notice he said the word midi-chlorians? By the way,
said
which
M
is
count.
interesting. Yeah. So I'm really interested in seeing where this is all going to go. Next week's episode is going to be called The Jedi, so I'm very interested in that. That got put out there, and we're probably going to see which. I can't wait for you to see the character of Ahsoka Tano. I'm assuming that's where we're headed next week. How
do you feel about what's her face? Dune. What's her first name?
Fucking love Cara Dune. I know everybody's shitting on Gina Carano right now because of her real life comments, but I don't care.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about that, but I still am not 100% sure how I feel about her character, because, like, I mean, first of all, the actual woman that plays her, like, she's massive. Like,
oh yeah,
she would kick my ass. Like, seriously.
Well, she was a fighter.
She's intimidating.
She was like an actual professional fighter, like Gina Carano.
Which obviously I think is cool, because she's a badass in the show.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But there's an element of cheesiness about her character for some reason. Like, I don't know if it's the acting. Yeah, because last season, if I remember right, the episode that most people said that they didn't like was one of the ones that had her in it. So I don't know if maybe I'm just associating it with the stuff I didn't like about that episode, but there's something about it, like when I see her, it feels a little cheesy. It almost, which I didn't know who she was previously. Surprisingly, I didn't actually know who she was. I had to look her up. But when I saw her, I thought, I wonder if she's in the WWE.
Right.
Like, first of all, she's huge, but the acting too. She kind of acts like someone from the WWE. How it doesn't necessarily feel like a seasoned actor, or not the role they're used to playing.
Yeah.
So she's not in the WWE. She was in the UFC, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's maybe something about the acting or what. I mean, I think the character itself is kind of badass, and she's obviously very large and muscular, so it's good for making an intimidating character. But I don't know, the delivery is not hitting for me. So when I saw her in this episode, I was kind of like, okay, what are we gonna get?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I mean, one thing, I'll throw out one thing about the actress, and I'll say something about the character. As far as Gina Carano goes, I think part of the reason that I might like her so much is because she's been acting for a little bit now, and I've seen her in other stuff, and it's been pretty rough, her acting. It's not been very good, so I was really worried when she got announced for the series, and personally, I think that she's improved tremendously as an actress. Like, she really does this. You could tell she really likes this character too when you see her in interviews. Like, she has like such a passion for this character and wants to do her right. I really like her. Her acting doesn't bother me so much. One of the things, and I said this to Josh when we did our breakdown of the episode, last week. One of the things I said to Josh was I didn't really like, for some reason, maybe it was the direction, I don't know, but I didn't like when Mando showed up on Navarra and they came over to meet him, and she had this like tremendously big smile on her face. That felt a little off to me for some reason, that she was like that thrilled to see him. Like, I expect her to be kind of happy, but so that one I could see, like, that moment felt maybe just slightly cheesy to me with her. I don't want her and Mando to have a love thing either. Like, I think that would be really bad. Like, I want Mandalorian. This is what I was telling Josh. I think it'd be cool if he went back to the village in episode 4 of last season and went back and found that lady at the like very last episode of this entire thing. Like, I think that'd be cool to bring his story full circle. But that's how I feel. But about the character itself, though, one of the theories this is interesting, is that at the end, they came to her to basically talk her into joining the rebellion, and it kind of feels like she just might join the rebellion after the conversation that was had with her and that other dude. By the way, which almost brought a tear to my eye when she was talking about how she lost everybody on Alderaan, and that was like, oh, that was pretty touching. But here's what worries me about this character is the child is actually, with the new information, he can be deemed a threat, I feel like, to the rebellion. Cara Dune's going to maybe join the rebellion. She knows about the child. I am really, really scared that she's going to leak all this shit over to the rebellion. Like, it would make for an interesting story, don't get me wrong. But that's, like, something that I was thinking of. Like, she joins the rebellion. Are they going to play it to where now she knows this information that, she's going to maybe leak out there, and that's going to be a problem?
Possibly.
Yeah. The other thing that excites me, and this is another thing I loved about the episode, is there were, like, real good moments here where we didn't actually have to spend time with Din Djarin and the child. Like, we actually got to expand beyond that. Like, we had the transition over to the Empire at the very end, I thought was so cool when the ship was going over, and then we go to see Moff Gideon for a little bit. Now, they said that they're tracking the Razor Crest, which I find to be pretty interesting. So, my theory is, Din Djarin's going to go see Ahsoka Tano. The Empire's going to follow him over there, and that's going to be a big problem. And I think we might see some pretty cool lightsaber action next week. That's all I'm going to say. But it's, which will be really, really fun. I don't know if
I'm into that.
I'm going to leave it a surprise for you, because I was going to say, I don't know if you've ever seen Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers, but...
No, I don't really know much about her.
Okay. I'm going to leave everything a surprise for you, because I can't wait to... I feel I'm going to get a text from you next week about this character. If they do her right, I'm assuming they are. But I really thoroughly enjoyed this episode of The Mandalorian, and this series, man, it's really... It's given us an opportunity to really expand the story out and get casual fans excited about a lot of the stuff that, like, hardcore fans have been excited about. And, like, I'm not calling you a completely casual viewer, because you really like Star Wars. Like, I don't know. Like, so I don't know if I would call you a casual viewer, but there are elements of it that you don't know about, and this series is, like, definitely, pulling in some of those elements. Like Bo-Katan last week, like...
Right, just because I'm not hip on the animated stuff.
Yeah, that. But it's giving you reason to be excited about this stuff now, and like so, it's bringing all the Star Wars fans together, and plus, a lot of casual fans do watch this series, and like real casual fans are watching this Mandalorian series, and
it definitely feels different. It certainly feels different than how a movie is made. There's a lot more downtime, so it's interesting comparing it to what a Star Wars movie feels like.
Yeah,
it's completely different.
Yeah,
which is good in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I don't know, it's interesting. Episode to episode, it's like as a whole, like I am super into the show. Like
Right.
I'm invested in the story. I'm excited about what the characters are doing. It's really great. It makes me excited for more. Episode to episode, there are like little moments where I'm like, this definitely feels odd for like Star Wars. It feels different. There's something different feeling about it. There are every now and then there are elements of episodes where I'm like, I don't know what I don't like about this, but there's something I don't like. Kind of like with her character and who was the other guy that was with them? What is his name?
Oh, the blue dude?
Not the blue dude.
Not Grief Karga?
I don't know his name.
Carl Weathers' character? The black guy? I didn't want to say that.
Sure.
Is that who you were talking about? Okay. Yeah, Grief Karga.
Probably.
Grief Karga. Yeah.
I feel like part of my beef with her character also has to do with his character with both of them together for some reason. I don't know if it's the writing or the acting.
That's interesting.
I was getting a little cheese from it.
Interesting.
A little cheese. There are elements of this show that from time to time I'm like, there are bits that I feel are kind of cheesy, but to be honest, there's a lot of cheese in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But the hardcore Star Wars fans are usually just oblivious to anything that could possibly be cheesy in Star Wars. So
that's probably true.
Oh no, it can't be.
That's probably true.
But I don't know. Most of Star Wars, there's a lot of cheese intertwined with it. But I'm a Star Wars fan, so I'm okay with it. But there are from time to time. I don't know whether it's writing for specific characters or whether it's acting or acting combined with writing. It's not like it's that big of a deal. But there are characters that sometimes I'm like, that's not as great as I want it to be.
Yeah.
Or I can't remember these characters' names because I'm not familiar with them outside of this show.
I gotcha.
The crazy lady. Who's the crazy lady?
Pelly something. I can't remember her last name. It's Pelly something.
With the big poofy hair a couple episodes.
Yeah, her last name is... I don't like her. She's weird.
Her character is really cheesy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
The acting is subpar. Her line delivery is not great.
I agree.
When she pops up, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know why they kept bringing her back. It was weird to me that they kept using her as often as they did. I'm not such a big fan of her. I will admit. I thought she was less cheesy than she was in the first season, but I still was not.
It almost feels like a character in a children's show.
Yeah, it really does.
It's just she's like really over the top. Her delivery almost sounds like how like a character on a children's show would deliver. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Her first episode in the first season. Don't even get me started. That Tatooine episode was horrible. That was the poorest thing that the show's ever done. Was that Tatooine episode? It was like. You had the, oh gosh, I can't remember his last name. Carnivale. Something Carnivale is the actor because he's but he was coming in there and, hey Mando, like, and then he had then he had her just, all right, let's round up the babies and get them on board. It's just like, what am I watching here? It's this episode. It was horrible, man. Don't even get me started on that.
That character isn't the greatest. I mean, it might be partially just writing for the character. It might also just be delivery of the lines of the actress. I don't know, but I don't know. There's a lot of that in the Star Wars world in general. I feel like Star Wars is never really perfect. There's always some element of, well, that's slightly cheesy. I wish that were a little different. So I don't know. Maybe one day we'll get like Oscar level from a Star Wars movie or series or something. We'll get like Oscar level writing and acting all across the board. But
Mandalorian won multiple Emmys though, even in that first season.
As a whole, the show is phenomenal. It's excellent. It's just not perfect to me. There are still elements of that, but as a whole, very fresh, very cool. Love where it's going. Like a lot of the new characters and new worlds, and so I get excited when there's a new episode. Both Megan and I think she honestly gets more excited than I do.
Really about Mandalorian?
It's bizarre. She's like, oh, we gotta watch Mando.
It's weird because I feel like it's one of those things too where I felt like it was so funny because I was like, okay, this is the show that's going to appeal to people like me because, you know, I've been invested in Star Wars my whole life, but I really feel like Mandalorian has breathed new life into Star Wars for a lot of new people for some reason. And while it is still for me, and they're bringing in elements that I've wanted to see play out in live action for a very long time, a lot of casual fans are strangely feeling more excited than I am about this stuff.
It's Baby Yoda.
That's it.
I'm dead serious though. If the child was not a part of this, it would go differently because it's become like a huge internet meme sensation.
Yeah.
Like those memes spread like wildfire as soon as the show started, and they're still going. So there are people that legitimately watch this show because they're like, oh, that's cute, and they keep seeing all the memes about it, so they just watch it. So definitely, I think, I think Disney knows there's money to be had with baby characters.
Yeah. Well, no, Josh was saying this on the breakdown last week. I mean, he said it. I mean, Baby Yoda is their breadwinner, definitely, for this show, and it's definitely the reason.
I love at the beginning of the episode where he's like, "Do not touch the red and the blue wire." I'm like, seriously, this kid's like. He's like the equivalent of like not even a 1-year-old, and you're telling him how to hook up wires to your ship. Like, come on.
I like that the wires are red and blue too. They seem to continue that symbolism. I thought that was cool as well. But you're right. That was hysterical. Like I was laughing so much. I was like, funny. This is one of the funniest openings to the episodes that they've had so far. And then the thing just like blows, and Mando's. You all right? He's just.
I love it.
He's like, forget it. You ain't gonna be able to do this, and it was just hysterical. I feel like Mando is like naive to like the fact that Baby Yoda is like as young as he is. You know what I mean? He's like, well, really, when you think about it, Mando's riding around by himself, or he's so used to it, and then now like. His only like real companion that's with him all the time is this child, so he probably talks to him like an adult, you know, and like just he doesn't know how to raise a kid. I mean, he's not used to that type of thing, so it's very, very different. But all right, guys, listen, this has been a really, really fun episode. I am so glad that Adam was able to join. Good thing you did. I mean, we had some circumstances that were unfortunate, and so I'm really glad that you came in and were able to finish it out with me. So I appreciate that. So, listen, guys, thank you for joining today. You can, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comments section, or show Ian definitely some love in the comment section too, because he's
go check up on our boy.
Yeah, clearly having a tough time right now. So any love would be appreciated for him. And share this with your friends. Do all that. I appreciate that very much. And Adam, thank you for joining me. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, same as always at the Red Eclectic on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And check out everything he's doing, guys. He's definitely doing some amazing, amazing work over there. So make sure you check that stuff out. Yeah, you're very welcome, sir. And I'll be leaving my social media in the description below, so you can be sure to follow me there. I appreciate you guys joining. This has been another episode of Dom's Corner. Once again, I've been Dom Martino, and I will see you guys.
I'm Larry the Cucumber.
On Saturday. Bye-bye.